everyone, and welcome back to this month's video, where today we're once again baking in the kitchen as Vintage Nora. Today we're celebrating 3 years of cosplay, yay! So I thought it would be nice to set up a nice little cozy tea party and enjoy some sweets and savories. But we are missing our middle tier, which are scones, usually served in between the sandwiches and desserts. So I thought I would help you all kind of walk you through how to make scones the vintage way. So let's put on our aprons, wash our hands, and get baking. Our first order of business, of course, is preheating the oven. We're gonna set it to 375. Okay, so our first order of business is actually to put on our aprons so we don't get our tea ware all messed up and dirty. So this one's making its comeback, of course. Now we're going to remove our gloves because we're gonna have to wash our hands forwards, frontwards, and backwards. Make sure they're squeaky clean. Alright, and with our hands clean and oven preheating away, we're actually going to start by getting our baking trays ready, and we're going to layer each one with a sheet of parchment paper. Don't ask me why, I'm not the baking expert, but that's what we're going to do. So baking sheets are prepped, ready to go. So now comes the exciting part to make our scone dough. So in a large mixing bowl, I have 2 cups of flour. And into this, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar. Sprinkle that in there. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And every last morsel. And last but not least, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And then it would help if I had a spoon. There we go. We got it. Alright, so you're just gonna mix it until it's nice and combined, all the ingredients are thoroughly, and you wanna make sure that you do not overmix. So it pretty much looks the same as before, but all of the ingredients are mixed in. So we're gonna set that aside for now. This is actually our next important step. So I have 1/3 of a cup of butter, which is 5 1/3 on the measuring stick, of course. And we're actually gonna cut it into smaller pieces, as you can see. And we're gonna add it to the flour mixture. Get in there. Like so. Now this next part requires you to have a pastry mixer, which is just a fancy term of how to blend the flour and the butter together to make the dough. But if you're like me and you don't have one quite yet, you can use 2 butter knives. I promise you I'm safe with these. And you're just going to cut in the butter into the flour. I might still have quite a bit to do, but you want the mixture to look like coarse crumbs. As you can see, I still have chunks of butter, and I'm just going in and crisscrossing it with the knife, like so. Alright, so we're back with our flour mixture that we cut the butter into. So now we're going to move on to the wet ingredients. Right here we have 1/2 cup of milk, and into the measuring cup we're going to add 1 egg lightly beaten. And we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're going to go ahead and mix this all together. And guess guess what our next step is? To add our wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and mix, and you want to be careful not to overmix. As you can tell, I'm having a bit of trouble. It's trying to come together, but it's still pretty coarse, so we're going to flour up our hands, and we're going to get our hands dirty, hence why we need a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and mix it in the bowl, and the next time you see it, it's going to be on the table. Yay! Next up. Alright, so we have our dough here. It's a bit crumbly, I don't know why. But we do have a nice lightly floured surface, and we're going to knead this for a few minutes until it all comes together. So you're kind of going to push it, you're going to push it around, you're going to show that dough who's boss. You have a tea party to prepare for. It's a good way to get rid of some of that stress and build up. So, but be careful, do not overknead it. So, I'm going to go a little bit forwards, and to the side. Make sure you don't miss any little crumbs. If they come out, it's okay. Okay, here we have our dough. Now that we have our dough, it's a little bit flattened, but we're going to make it even flatter with our handy dandy rolling pin that we're going to add some flour to so it doesn't stick. And we're going to roll this out. See what that good old recipe card says. A circle that is about 7 inches round and about 1.5 inches thick. So here's my helper. The kitchen inspector gone, we can now roll this out. It's not quite the perfect circle, but it'll do. So now comes the fun part where we get to, now you can either cut these into triangle shapes, like a classic scone triangle-like texture, or you can break out your fun cookie cutters and designs. Or if you want the famous circle designs, I like to use a cup. We're gonna add flour to this, of course, so it doesn't stick. And then you can get those designs as well. We're gonna start with the fun shape cookie cutters because I do have a plan in mind. So I have a nice little star shape, and we're gonna cut out 3 of these stars. Look how adorable these are. So cute. Reminds me of a certain video game. It makes sense here a bit. We have our 3 stars, and then we have a mouse-shaped cookie cutter. For those that might not know, Cosplay Tea Time is your cosplay podcast source of fun themes and topics related to cosplaying. Can I get one more? We can do it. Got it. Alright, so there's 4 little mouses. Under the tray from earlier. Add those on here. So it might be a little bit hard to see, but we have our fun scones cut out right now. And these are going to bake in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes or until they're lightly brown on top and smell delicious. Your nose will know. I made the nice and classic round ones and kind of an odd mousy shape here that I attempted to use by hand. So let's go and get these in the oven as well, and let's clean up and get ready for the next course of action. We are back with our scones, and they smell super, super good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transfer these over to a wire rack to cool. Scones to the cooling rack as well. And our messy family and our stars. Alright, and we're gonna go and let those those cool for a little bit, and we'll go ahead and set up the tea and everything. Alrighty, now that we're back, we can put on our gloves, of course. It's tea time etiquette to wear our gloves while dining. Sometimes, if the food's a bit sticky or you have finger food, it might be best to take them off, but we're going to wear them and sip a very nice, lovely Earl Grey tea. So, cheers. That just warms my soul. Of course, we also have some jellies. You can use whatever type of jelly. I had a nice strawberry jam. And we also have, well, what I tried to attempt to make the cream and whatnot. Did not work out, but we'll make it work. So once the sandwiches are nibbled upon and you move on to your second layer, that of course is the scones, which we have here. We have our different shapes and our circles. So we're gonna go ahead and add 2 to our plate. Do a nice circle and a mousey. I know I just remarked about gloves and whatnot, but we're gonna take these off while we eat them because we're gonna break them into small pieces. So gloves to the side. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a little bit of strawberry jam, you're gonna add it to your plate, like so. And then we'll do the circle one because that's a bit easy. You're gonna break it into a nice small piece. And you're gonna dip it. And everybody's favorite part, of course, is to enjoy. It was definitely worth the wait. So it's nice and doughy on the inside, a little bit of crunchiness on the outside. It's the perfect scone consistency. So in these 3 little stars that I had made, each one represents a year of cosplaying. So there's a fun little video out there somewhere, like a little highlight reel. So each star is to level up from each year that I've been cosplaying, which is crazy to think that it's been 3 years and it's been such a blast. So, alrighty, well, we're gonna go and finish our scones and then move on to dessert. That's everybody's favorite. Thank you for joining me as we baked. It was always wonderful to see you again in the kitchen. I wonder what next time we'll have in store. Maybe we'll do something else fun with the mousy cookie cutters. So again, scones, just a nice little treat in between your sandwiches and your desserts. Remember, tea time is an occasion that you just take your time, enjoy, unwind, and relax. Just take a moment out of your busy day, you know, have some nice scones. The nice thing about scones is they keep well in the fridge and also the freezer, so you can always seal some up in little tiny baggies, take them out, you know, defrost them and whatnot, and then heat them up, and you'll always have tea time at your fingertips. So always a joy. But until then, I'm going to continue on with our merry little tea party. Thank you again for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye!